Groovy English Podcast.
Hey there! Welcome back to Groovy English. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Aiden. We share real stories, useful tips, and everyday English to help you grow with confidence.
Wherever you are in your English learning journey, we're glad you're here.
If you're enjoying the podcast, feel free to like, subscribe, or share it with a friend.
Let's get started.
Dreams have always fascinated us because they blur the line between imagination and reality. Across cultures, people have searched for meaning in these nightly visions, seeing them as messages from the divine, reflections of the subconscious, or even glimpses of the future. What's striking is how different societies, separated by oceans and centuries, still share common themes: the dream of flying, the dream of being chased, the dream of falling. These experiences unite us as humans, but the way cultures interpret them reveals something unique about each community's values, fears, and hopes. In ancient Egypt, dreams weren't just personal musings of the mind. They were considered direct communication with the gods. Egyptian priests served as dream interpreters, offering guidance to pharaohs and commoners alike. If someone dreamt of water, it might signify rebirth or fertility. A dream of being attacked could be a warning from the spirit world. Egyptians even recorded dreams on papyrus scrolls, treating them with the seriousness of state documents. To them, dreams weren't private. They were part of the collective destiny of the nation, woven into religion and governance. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, dreams carried both psychological and prophetic weight. The Greeks believed dreams could come from two gates, one of ivory, which produced deceptive dreams, and one of horn, which produced true visions. Temples dedicated to Asclepius, the god of healing, invited people to sleep in sacred chambers so their dreams could reveal cures for their ailments. Imagine lying in a cool marble hall, incense in the air, hoping that the dream you had that night would bring you not just answers, but healing. For the Greeks, dreams weren't random. They were bridges between the human body, the human soul, and the divine. Across the world in China, dreams were understood through the philosophy of yin and yang. Taoist traditions saw dreams as journeys of the spirit, temporary travels outside the body that reflected balance or imbalance within. A dream of harmony, of flowing rivers or lush gardens, suggested that your inner life was aligned. But disturbing dreams might signal that your spirit was unsettled, urging you to restore balance in daily life. Even Confucius wrote about dreams, considering them reflections of virtue, morality, and the importance of living rightly. In Chinese culture, dreams weren't dismissed as illusions. They were woven into the moral and spiritual framework of society. Indigenous cultures across the Americas also hold rich dream traditions. For many Native American communities, dreams are deeply tied to guidance and protection. The Lakota, Ojibwe, and other nations use dream catchers not as decorations, but as spiritual tools to filter dreams, catching the bad and letting the good flow through. Vision quests, where individuals retreat into solitude and fasting, invite powerful dreams or visions that shape a person's path in life. Here, dreams are not random flickers of the mind. they're sacred instructions, shaping one's identity, community role, and spiritual journey. In Islamic culture, dreams carry a profound weight as well. The Prophet Muhammad's sayings describe dreams as threefold: true dreams that bring good tidings from God, false dreams that come from the devil, and everyday dreams born of the self. Scholars and mystics throughout Islamic history devoted energy to interpreting dreams, seeing them as a continuation of divine revelation. Even today, in many Muslim households, dreams are recounted in the morning with reverence, as though they hold a special key to the unfolding of daily life. In contrast, Western psychology, especially after Freud and Jung, shifted the conversation. Freud famously called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, suggesting that our nightly visions reveal hidden desires and unresolved conflicts. Jung expanded this, seeing dreams as archetypal stories shared across humanity, tapping into a collective unconscious. To him, dreaming of flying wasn't just personal. It connected you to ancient myths of ascension, transcendence, and freedom. These ideas influenced not only therapy, but also art, literature, and how we see our own nightly stories. Yet, even with these different interpretations, there's something universally comforting about sharing dreams. Around the breakfast table, a child tells her parents about the strange monster she outran in her dream. In a village, elders gather to interpret someone's vision of a storm as a message for the community. In therapy, a patient describes a recurring dream of being trapped, and the therapist helps them untangle its meaning. Dreams are deeply personal, but the act of sharing them connects us. They're reminders that while our lives are unique, our imaginations often travel through similar landscapes at night. What's also fascinating is how dreams inspire creativity across cultures. Musicians, artists, and inventors have credited dreams with their breakthroughs. Paul McCartney dreamt the melody of Yesterday. The structure of the periodic table came to Dmitri Mendeleev in a dream. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was born from a dreamlike vision. Across cultures, dreams are more than reflections. They're catalysts, sparking art, science, and storytelling that shape history. The dream world doesn't just reflect reality, it creates it. Today, in our modern, hyper-connected world, we still carry these cultural traditions in subtle ways. We may not all visit dream temples or record dreams on papyrus, but we still ask each other, "What did you dream last night?" We still wake up shaken by a nightmare or uplifted by a joyful dream and share it with someone we trust. In that sharing, we find empathy, humor, and connection. Dreams remind us that despite cultural differences, human beings everywhere wonder about the same mysteries. What does this dream mean? Why did I dream it? What is it trying to tell me? Dreams are like secret journeys our minds take when the world is quiet, when our eyes are closed and the everyday noise fades away. They feel intensely personal, like private movies only we can see, yet they also connect us to something larger, to memory, to culture, to the shared human experience. From the dawn of civilization, people have wondered what dreams mean and whether they are simple reflections of the mind or powerful messages from beyond. And when we explore the way different cultures interpret dreams, We see both the beauty of diversity and the surprising ways in which our night visions unite us. Take, for instance, the ancient Egyptians. To them, dreams weren't just whimsical nighttime stories, they were considered divine communications. Pharaohs and commoners alike looked to priests who specialized in interpreting dreams, and these priests would carefully record them on papyrus scrolls. If someone dreamt of water, it might signal rebirth or fertility. If they dreamt of fighting an animal, perhaps it meant conflict was coming. Imagine living in a society where every dream felt like a direct message from the gods, a piece of the puzzle of your destiny. Dreams were woven into religious practice and statecraft, shaping decisions that affected entire kingdoms. A similar reverence for dreams existed in ancient Mesopotamia. The Babylonians created detailed dream books, manuals listing common dream symbols and their meanings. To them, a dream about a flood might foretell disaster, while dreaming of a bright star could herald good fortune. Kings relied on dream interpreters to advise them on war, governance, and even the construction of temples. When we read about these civilizations today, it's remarkable how much weight they placed on dreams, trusting them almost like reports from trusted advisors. The Greeks and Romans, too, paid close attention to dreams. For the Greeks, there was an important distinction between deceptive dreams and true ones. They believed dreams could emerge from two gates, one of ivory, which produced false and misleading visions, and one of horn, which produced true messages from the divine. At temples dedicated to Asclepius, the god of healing, people would sleep in sacred chambers and hope for dreams that revealed cures for their ailments. A dream of snakes, for instance, was not frightening but healing, since snakes were sacred to Asclepius. For the Greeks, dreams bridged the worlds of health, spirituality, and prophecy. The Romans inherited and expanded these traditions, turning dream interpretation into a respected discipline. The philosopher Cicero wrote about the power of dreams, while military leaders sometimes made strategic decisions based on the dreams of their soldiers. Imagine a Roman general, on the eve of battle, asking his troops to recount their dreams and then using those visions as guidance. Dreams weren't dismissed as mere imagination. They were woven into politics, philosophy, and war. Meanwhile, across the world in ancient China, dreams were viewed through the lens of yin and yang. Taoist traditions suggested that dreams were journeys of the soul, where a person's spirit temporarily left the body to explore other realms. If you dreamt of harmonious landscapes like flowing rivers or lush gardens, it might reflect inner balance. But if you dreamt of chaos, conflict, or storms, it suggested a lack of alignment in your daily life. In Confucian thought, dreams also reflected morality and personal virtue. They weren't random flickers of the brain, but moral and spiritual indicators, showing how closely or how poorly your life aligned with harmony and virtue. Dreams also play a vital role in indigenous cultures across the Americas. For many Native American nations, dreams are not illusions, but sacred experiences. The Ojibwe and Lakota, for example, use dream catchers to filter dreams. Good ones slip through, while harmful ones are caught and dissolved by the morning light. Vision quests, in which individuals seek solitude and fasting, invite profound dreams or visions that guide their lives. Dreams here serve as teachers, protectors, and companions, shaping identity and destiny. In these communities, dreams are communal gifts, shared with elders and interpreted as guidance not just for individuals, but for the whole group. In African traditions, too, dreams hold deep meaning. Among the Zulu people, dreams are sometimes believed to be visits from ancestors. These nightly encounters allow the living to stay connected with their heritage and receive wisdom from generations past. If someone dreams of an elder offering food or advice, it isn't dismissed as strange. It's understood as genuine communication, a blessing from the ancestral realm. Dreams help maintain continuity between past and present, life and afterlife, weaving family bonds across time. In Islamic tradition, dreams carry immense spiritual weight. The Prophet Muhammad's teachings describe dreams as threefold: true dreams from God, deceptive ones from the devil, and everyday ones arising from the self. Many Muslims still recount their dreams in the morning, seeking comfort or insight from them. Scholars throughout Islamic history wrote detailed texts on dream interpretation, connecting dreams with divine revelation. A good dream might inspire hope and faith, while a troubling one could serve as a warning or a lesson in humility. Even now, in many Muslim households, sharing dreams is part of daily conversation, blending spirituality with everyday life. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, dreams are also deeply symbolic. In Hinduism, dreams are sometimes seen as reflections of karma or glimpses into the cycles of rebirth. A dream of falling into water might represent purification or release, while seeing a god or goddess in a dream is often considered a sacred blessing. In Buddhism, dreams are viewed as expressions of the mind's attachments and illusions. Certain schools even teach lucid dreaming as a spiritual practice, allowing practitioners to explore awareness within the dream state as a step toward enlightenment. If we leap forward in time, Western psychology dramatically reshaped how we view dreams. Freud argued that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious, revealing hidden desires and unresolved conflicts. To him, a dream of climbing a mountain might not be about a mountain at all, but about ambition, struggle, or longing. Jung expanded this by suggesting that dreams contain archetypes, universal symbols like the hero, the shadow, or the wise old man, that connect us to a collective unconscious shared across humanity. In this way, a dream of flying might not just be your dream. It could link you to myths of angels, shamans, and transcendent beings that cultures everywhere have imagined. And yet, what's fascinating is how even with these many interpretations, people across cultures often dream the same themes. Flying, falling, being chased, losing teeth, these images appear in different places, times, and traditions. They're part of the human imagination itself, perhaps reflecting common anxieties or desires. Scientists today might explain them as patterns of brain activity, but the cultural meanings we give them remain powerful. A child in Brazil, a grandmother in Nigeria, and a student in Japan might all wake up from dreams of flying, and each will tell their story differently. But the feeling, that sense of freedom, transcends borders. Dreams also inspire creativity, and cultures everywhere celebrate this. Paul McCartney famously dreamt the melody of Yesterday. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was born from a dreamlike vision. Dmitri Mendeleev, the Russian chemist, saw the structure of the periodic table in a dream. In art, literature, and science, dreams spark breakthroughs that reshape the world. They remind us that imagination doesn't sleep. It finds new ways to whisper to us when we let go. Even today, in our modern global culture, dreams remain conversation starters and sources of connection. Around breakfast tables, in therapy sessions, and in classrooms, people share their dreams with curiosity. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes frightening, sometimes deeply moving. And though we may not gather in dream temples or consult official interpreters anymore, we still treat dreams with a kind of reverence. They are mysteries we can't quite solve, but that doesn't stop us from trying. What makes dreams so compelling is that they connect the intimate to the universal. A dream feels deeply personal. You alone experienced it. Yet when you tell it to someone, they often nod and say, "I've had something like that too." Suddenly, you're not alone. Dreams highlight both our uniqueness and our shared humanity. They reveal how culture shapes interpretation, but they also show us how imagination binds us together. When we look at dreams through the lens of storytelling, we realize they are one of the oldest narratives we know. Long before humans wrote books or made movies, they dreamed. Every night, they stepped into stories filled with characters, settings, and conflicts that seemed both familiar and strange. These nightly tales helped people make sense of their world, and when shared, they became collective stories that carried meaning across generations. In this sense, dreams were not just private experiences, but part of a culture's oral tradition, told and retold, shaped and reshaped, until they became myths, folk tales, or religious visions. Take the Mayans, for example. Their cosmology placed great emphasis on dreams as bridges between the physical and spiritual realms. A dream of jaguars, for instance, could carry messages of strength, power, or protection, since jaguars were sacred animals in Mayan culture. These dreams were often shared with priests or shamans, who interpreted them in the context of community rituals. What's powerful here is the way personal dreams became communal knowledge. They weren't kept secret, but woven into ceremonies that guided collective life. A single dream could influence farming practices, rituals, or even decisions about war and peace. In medieval Europe, the interpretation of dreams took a different form. People often saw dreams as moral lessons or as omens of what was to come. Christian mystics sometimes described their dreams as visions of heaven or hell, using them to inspire faith in others. At the same time, ordinary villagers might wake from a strange dream and consult a local wise woman or cleric to make sense of it. In these communities, dreams were viewed through a religious lens, often carrying warnings about sin, redemption, or divine justice. The medieval imagination linked dreams with salvation, weaving them into sermons and storytelling. By the Renaissance, dreams began to acquire a different flavor, blending science, art, and mysticism. With the rediscovery of classical knowledge, thinkers like Artemidorus's Oneirocritica resurfaced, inspiring intellectual debates about whether dreams came from the body, the soul, or external forces. Artists, meanwhile, began depicting dreamlike visions in their paintings, filling canvases with surreal landscapes and symbolic imagery. A dream wasn't just a religious message anymore. It could also be a window into the creative process, a source of inspiration for poetry, music, and painting. In this way, dreams started to bridge spirituality and art, enriching culture in new ways. Fast forward to the Enlightenment, and dreams began to be studied through the emerging lens of science. Philosophers and physicians started asking practical questions. What happens in the brain when we dream? Are dreams simply electrical impulses, or do they serve a function in memory and cognition? Although these early studies lacked the technology we have today, they laid the groundwork for a shift in how people understood dreams. Instead of seeing them solely as divine or mystical, people began exploring them as natural, psychological phenomena. This opened the door for modern psychology, which would revolutionize dream interpretation in the 19th and 20th centuries. Even as science advanced, however, cultural traditions remained strong. In Japan, dreams have long carried special significance, with the first dream of the year, called Hatsuyum, considered especially important. The content of that dream is thought to set the tone for the year ahead. Dreaming of Mount Fuji, an eagle, or an eggplant, an unusual but traditional symbol, is considered a sign of good fortune. Imagine waking up on January 1st and eagerly trying to recall your dream, knowing it could shape how you interpret the months ahead. This practice shows how even in a modern society, ancient dream traditions still guide people's hopes and expectations. In contemporary Latin American cultures, dreams often remain deeply spiritual. In some communities, dreams are seen as visits from deceased relatives, offering comfort or guidance. A grandmother who appears in a dream might be believed to deliver blessings, warnings, or reassurance. Families might discuss these dreams together, treating them as important messages rather than coincidences. The act of sharing strengthens bonds across generations, keeping cultural traditions alive through the dream world. Dreams, in this context, are not only personal, they're cultural tools for remembering, honoring, and staying connected to ancestors. This communal aspect of dreams highlights how sharing them is just as important as dreaming them. Dreams are ephemeral. They vanish quickly when we wake. But the act of telling someone else anchors them in reality. Around breakfast tables, in village gatherings, or now in therapy sessions, the telling of a dream transforms it from fleeting imagery into meaningful narrative. When you share a dream, you allow others to enter your inner world, and they, in turn, connect it to their own experiences. This exchange reinforces the universality of dreams while also respecting the unique interpretations shaped by culture. Dreams also serve as tools for problem-solving across cultures. There are countless stories of inventors, scientists, and writers who found solutions to complex problems in their dreams. The German chemist August Kekule dreamt of a snake biting its own tail, which inspired him to discover the ring structure of benzene. This wasn't just a personal revelation, it advanced the entire field of chemistry. Stories like these remind us that dreams, while mysterious, can have real-world consequences, pushing human knowledge forward in ways no waking effort could achieve. At the same time, dreams are deeply emotional, helping people process feelings that may be too complex or overwhelming in waking life. Cultures everywhere recognize this therapeutic role of dreams. Whether interpreted as messages from gods, ancestors, or the subconscious, dreams often allow people to confront fears, rehearse challenges, or find hope. A person who dreams of reconciling with a loved one, for instance, may wake with a renewed sense of peace, even if the reconciliation hasn't yet happened in waking life. Dreams, in this sense, act like emotional rehearsals, preparing us for life's joys and struggles. We also see how dreams play roles in rites of passage. In many indigenous cultures, young people undergoing initiation rituals often recount their dreams as part of their transformation into adulthood. These dreams are interpreted by elders who help guide the young person into their new role within the community. In this way, dreams aren't just private, they're integral to cultural identity and continuity. They help shape who we become, not only as individuals, but as members of a larger society. Another fascinating aspect of dreams across cultures is the recurring theme of travel. People everywhere dream of flying, of journeying to distant places, of crossing rivers or climbing mountains. These dreams reflect a universal human curiosity and longing for exploration. But how cultures interpret them differs. In some places, such dreams are seen as spiritual journeys, while in others they're interpreted as signs of ambition, freedom, or restlessness. Regardless of interpretation, they reveal a shared human desire to transcend boundaries and discover new horizons. Nightmares, too, show striking similarities across cultures. Dreams of being chased, attacked, or trapped appear in societies worldwide. Ancient cultures often interpreted nightmares as warnings or as evidence of malevolent spirits. In medieval Europe, nightmares were sometimes thought to be caused by demons or witches sitting on a sleeper's chest, which is where the word nightmare originates. In modern psychology, these dreams might be linked to stress, trauma, or anxiety. What's consistent is the recognition that nightmares demand attention. They cannot simply be ignored. Whether spiritual or psychological, they push us to confront what frightens us. Dream sharing is also a form of bonding. Think of how friends laugh together when recounting bizarre dreams, or how family members comfort one another after nightmares. In these moments, dreams become bridges of empathy, allowing people to understand each other more deeply. Some cultures ritualize this sharing, while in others it happens casually over coffee. Either way, the simple act of telling and listening to dreams nurtures connection. Technology, too, is shaping the future of dreams. Today, scientists are experimenting with dream recording, using brain scans and artificial intelligence to reconstruct dream imagery. While still in its infancy, this research could one day allow people to replay their dreams like movies. Imagine sharing a dream not just with words, but with visuals, letting others see exactly what you experienced. Such a development would transform dream sharing from storytelling into direct experience, expanding how cultures interact with dreams. Yet, even as technology advances, the cultural meanings we attach to dreams will remain just as important as the images themselves. Dreams also play roles in politics and social movements. In history, leaders have sometimes drawn on dreams to inspire followers. Consider Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous speech, "I have a dream." Though not a literal dream, the phrase tapped into the universal symbolism of dreaming to convey hope and vision. Dreams, whether at night or in metaphor, serve as powerful vehicles for imagining better futures. Across cultures, they remind us of what we yearn for collectively, and they mobilize communities toward change. Another layer of dreaming lies in its mystery. No matter how much we study dreams scientifically, no matter how many cultural interpretations we catalog, there's still something elusive about them. That mystery itself is valuable. It invites curiosity, reflection, and humility. Dreams remind us that not everything can be explained, and sometimes it's okay to simply wonder. Different cultures embrace this mystery in different ways, but the awe remains universal. In literature, dreams often act as turning points. Shakespeare frequently used dreams in his plays to reveal inner conflict or foreshadow events. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, dreams blur with reality, creating a world of enchantment. Across cultures, authors weave dreams into narratives as symbols of hope, fear, or revelation. These literary dreams echo the cultural ones, carrying meaning that transcends the page. Dreams can also act as safe spaces. For people facing hardship, dreams may provide temporary escape, offering visions of peace, freedom, or reunion with loved ones. Cultures often interpret these comforting dreams as gifts from the divine or ancestors, intended to sustain people through challenges. Even in psychology, such dreams are recognized as important coping mechanisms, helping individuals maintain resilience. On the other hand, unsettling dreams can serve as warnings. Across traditions, dreams of storms, fire, or floods often signal danger. In agrarian societies, such dreams were sometimes taken as predictions of poor harvests or natural disasters. Communities prepared accordingly, showing how seriously dreams were taken as tools for survival. Even today, when someone dreams of an accident or illness, it may influence their decisions, prompting caution in real life. Interestingly, dreams often reflect cultural values. In societies that prize community, dreams may feature family and social gatherings. In cultures that emphasize individual achievement, dreams of success or recognition may be more common. In this way, dreams mirror the priorities and anxieties of the societies we live in. They are both personal expressions and cultural reflections, shaped by the environment in which we grow. Even language itself captures cultural attitudes toward dreams. In English, to dream big means to aspire. In Spanish, the word sonar carries a poetic resonance, connecting dreams to imagination. In Japanese, the word yum is often used in expressions of hope and ambition. Across languages, We see how the concept of dreaming has expanded beyond the night, symbolizing creativity, desire, and possibility. These linguistic expressions show how deeply dreams are embedded in cultural consciousness. Dreams also reveal how cultures handle fear of the unknown. Some societies use rituals to protect against bad dreams, placing charms, saying prayers, or sleeping in specific positions. Others embrace even frightening dreams as sources of knowledge. These practices reflect broader cultural approaches to uncertainty, whether it's resisted, tamed, or integrated. Dreams, in this sense, become a mirror of how cultures deal with life itself. And while interpretations differ, the emotional impact of dreams is universal. The joy of a flying dream, the terror of a chase, the sorrow of losing someone, even without interpretation, these feelings are deeply human. Sharing them across cultures highlights our common emotional landscape. Despite all our differences, we experience similar feelings in dreams, reminding us of our shared humanity. The universality of dreams also makes them powerful tools for empathy. Listening to someone's dream requires patience and imagination. It asks us to enter their inner world. When cultures share dreams, whether through myths, rituals, or literature, they invite others to understand them on a deeper level. Dreams, then, are not just private journeys, they're collective invitations to empathy, bridging divides that otherwise feel insurmountable. Finally, dreams inspire hope. No matter the culture, no matter the era, people dream of better things, whether it's peace, love, prosperity, or transcendence. Dreams allow us to imagine what isn't yet real and to carry that vision into waking life. They comfort, challenge, and guide us, reminding us of the endless possibilities within the human spirit. And though we may interpret them differently, the fact that we all dream is proof of our shared connection.
Your English is shining brighter by the minute. Hit that next video to keep leveling up your skills. Or dive into our other episodes for more secrets to talk like a pro. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to join the Groovy English crew.